So, today I'm talking about branding. We're going to take it back to 2006. Liverpool had just lost in the Champions League final. I was a little bit emotional, and I was living in a shed. True story is I was living in a shed at the end of a garden, no sanitation. My son had just turned 1, and I was broke, like broke. I had a house that I'd bought, but because I wanted to achieve stuff in the music industry, I had to rent that house out in order to live and provide for my son. So he was living in this shed. There was 3 leaks in the roof. It was hard times. I remember sitting there thinking, what am I gonna do? So I remember sitting there one day with my mentor, whose name was Ara, massive part of my career. And we sat down, and at the time, vlogging was massive. It had just taken off. YouTube was something new. Everyone was trying to get involved in it. And he was like, dude, like, you've got so much personality, you should do the vlogging thing. And I was like, everyone's doing it, I don't want to do it. And at this point in my career, I had self-educated myself in all aspects of new media. So I taught myself how to edit on Final Cut. I taught myself how to shoot on a camera. I taught myself how to produce on Logic. I taught myself how to code and design websites. So pretty much all aspects of new media, I was self-educated in and very competent. So I was like, how am I gonna showcase the fact that I am this modern day artist who can do everything, absolutely everything. And at this point in my career, I had tried being an artist, a DJ, a producer, and everything had failed, miserably. Like I had no, all the way through, but I didn't want to give up. So I sat there and I was like, right, I can do all of these things, and I want to showcase that I'm probably one of the only guys right now in the industry that can do all these things to a certain level. So I came out of a show where I played 8 different characters in the show. Each had their own personality and uniform. Now, when I say uniform, we're going to touch on this again shortly, but uniforms for me are a very important part of branding. When you see a policeman, you know what a policeman does, right? Yes, Charlie. When you see a guy who works for the ambulance services, you know what he does. A uniform is very important for understanding, identifying either a person or a product. So I stereotyped each individual within the show being Charlie Sloth. The manager was a very stereotypical manager, dressed in a suit. He was very chavvy, very laddie. The editor wore a granddad cap, bandana, like very much what I'd seen throughout my time in the industry. Now, the show took off, and it was huge, a massive success, got picked up in America. It was doing millions and millions of views every week. And the reason why that show was so successful is because of the way I branded it. The way I understood how important branding is. And there's an analogy that a guy who, again, was a mentor for me, gave to me when I was very young. This guy is a billionaire, and he said to me, look, Charlie, branding is everything. And I was like, why? He's like, Charlie, if you went into a shop and you got a can of Coke, you open that can of Coke, drank it, and it was lemonade, how shocked would you be? You'd be blown away, right? You'd be like, whoa, that's not Coke, that's lemonade, you tricked me. You'd be furious because you understand and identify with that brand so well, and you know exactly what you're gonna get. When you see that kind of Coke, you know exactly what you're gonna get. And that's because it's branded so well. And again, like touching on Coke's branding, knowing your audience, they know their audience so well. So Coke, branded worldwide. Diet Coke, when you think back at their adverts historically, they're always targeted towards women. You got a dude, top off. I tried to go for one of them adverts, can't lie, got declined. But dude, top off, like showing off his muscles, ladies, ooh, because they know their audience, they know their target audience. And I think, for me, that defining moment when I sat down and came up with being Charlie Sloth was understanding my audience. Before you can brand something and package it up, you have to understand who you're branding it up for. So I knew who my audience was, like very much the hip-hop, urban community. And that is something that I'd been involved in and passionate about my whole life. So I felt like I really had a great understanding of the audience that I was trying to penetrate. I think once you understand your audience, it's very easy to deliver to that audience. Just like I said with Coke, all the biggest brands, you know exactly what you're getting. So it got to the point with Charlie Sloth that you knew you was getting something to do with hip hop, grime, urban culture, because I packaged it that way. Like when you're going to McDonald's, you know what you're gonna get. What are you gonna get at McDonald's? Who says Charlie Sloth? Why are you gonna get Charlie when you think I eat in McDonald's? Fam, this branding means that I can now eat in gauchos. I get steak. McDonald's, fam, way past that. So anyway, like back to knowing your audience. I think a lot of people, especially in today's climate, forget that branding in particular is one of the most important part of packaging something and selling it. Like I see a lot of artists, obviously a lot of artists come to me and they'll be like, yes, fam. Like they just put out 3 mixtapes, all grime records. Fam, I've got a hit. I'm like, yeah, it's the maddest record. They come and play it to me and it's a drum and bass record. I'm like, yo, like you just put out 3 mixtapes that are grime and now you're making a drum and bass record. Yeah, fam, this is gonna go off, this is gonna chart. It's not, bruv. Why is it gonna, you just spent the last 3 years trying to penetrate an audience that wants to hear hip hop and grime, and now you're trying to put out a drum and bass record. That shows that you don't understand who your audience are. All that hard work is for nothing. It's for nothing. And it's the same across the board, whether you're trying to sell clothing, whether you've got a restaurant, whether you're a DJ, no matter what it is, understanding your audience is the most important part of creating a brand. And then once you've got that brand, it's creating an identity for your brand. Like, another small thing with me, like every single last detail of the Charlie Sloth brand is thought out. From the way I dress, to the way I talk, to the way I conduct myself across social media, to the point where people actually think I'm bald under my hat because I've got a hat on every day. But the moment I take my hat off, I'm no longer Charlie Sloth. It's almost like Clark Kent Superman with the glasses. It's like, obviously that's Superman, he just got glasses on. But you don't know. It's like, I'll take my hat off, I walk down the street dressed how I am today, and I'll get stopped every 5 minutes at least. Charlie, let's get a picture. Cool. I take my hat off. Don't know already, cuz. Man don't even know I am no more. Put a shirt on, people are like, you look a bit like Charlie Sloth, you do, fella. Yeah, mate, everyone says that all the time. But again, that's branding. Like, I wear a hat because that is what people expect from Charlie Sloth. If I turn up to a club with a shirt on, some tight jeans, pair of loafers, hair slicked back, people are like, where's Charlie Sloth? And that's because I've created a brand and a perception of what you expect from Charlie Sloth. And that is branding. And I think once you understand that, the options are endless. Like I know that now I know my audience know me, I can constantly play with my brand and adapt my brand. Like if you look at all the greatest artists over time who've understood their audience and their brand, they're able to adapt, like Madonna, constantly adapting and changing, just small things, but enough to stay relevant. And again, that's all to do with branding. And that's my talk on branding, cuz. Down the road of ET. Hold up.